Day 63. Deuteronomy 32-34. Deuteronomy chapter 32. A canticle for the remembrance of the law. Moses is commanded to go up into a mountain from whence he shall see the promised land, but not enter into it. Hear, O ye heavens, the things I speak, let the earth give ear to the words of my mouth. Let my doctrine gather as the rain, let my speech distill as the dew, as a shower upon the herb, and as drops upon the grass. Because I will invoke the name of the Lord, give me magnificence to our God. The works of God are perfect, and all his ways are judgments. God is faithful and without any iniquity. He is just and right. They have sinned against him, and are none of his children in their filth. They are a wicked and perverse generation. Is this the return thou makest to the Lord, O foolish and senseless people? Is not he thy father that hath possessed thee? I made thee, and created thee. Remember the days of old, think upon every generation. Ask thy father, and he will declare to thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. Rim the Most High divided the nations. When he separated the sons of Adam, he appointed the bounds of people according to the number of the children of Israel. But the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob the lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land, in a place of horror, in a vast wilderness. He led him about, and taught him, and he kept him as the apple of his eye. As the eagle enticing her young to fly, and hovering over them, he spread his wings, and hath taken him, and carried him on his shoulders. The Lord alone was his leader, and there was no strange God with him. He set him upon high land, that he might eat the fruits of the fields, that he might suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the hardest stone, butter of the herd, and milk of the sheep with the fat of lambs, and that the rounds of the breed of Bazan, and goats with the marrow of wheat, and might drink the purest blood of the grape. The beloved grew fat, and kicked, he grew fat, and gick and gross. He forsook God who made him, and departed from God his Savior. They provoked him by strange gods, and stirred him up to anger with their abominations. They sacrificed to devils and not to gods whom they knew not, that were newly come up, from their fathers worshipped not. Thou hast forsaken the God that begot thee, and hast forgotten the Lord that created thee. The Lord saw, and was moved to wrath, because his own sons and daughters provoked him. And he said, I will hide my face from them, and will consider what their last end shall be, for it is a perverse generation and unfaithful children. They have provoked me with that which was no God, and have angered me with their vanities. And I will provoke them with that which was no people, and will vex them with a foolish nation. A fire is kindled in my wrath, and shall burn even to the lowest hell, and shall devour the earth with her increase, and shall burn the foundations of the mountains. I will heap evils upon them, and will spend my arrows among them. They shall be consumed with famine, and birds shall devour them with the most bitter bite. I will send the teeth of beasts upon them, with the fury of creatures that trail upon the ground, and of serpents. Without, the sword shall lay them waste, and terror within, both the young man and the virgin, the sucking child with the man in years. I said, where are they? I will make the memory of them to cease from among men. But for the wrath of the enemies I have deferred it, lest perhaps their enemies might be proud, and should say, Almighty hand, and not the Lord, hath done all these things. They are a nation without counsel, and without wisdom. Oh, that they would be wise, and would understand, and would provide for the last end. How should one pursue after 1,000, and two chase 10,000? Was it not, because our God had sold them, and the Lord had shut them up? For our God is not as the gods, our enemies themselves are judges. Their vines are of the vineyard of Sodom, and of the suburbs of Gomer. The grapes are grapes of gall, and their clusters most bitter. Their wine is the gall of dragons, and the venom of asps, which is incurable. Are not these things stored up of me, and sealed up in my treasures? Revenge is mine, and I will repay them in due time, that their foot may slide. The day of destruction is at hand, and the time makes haste to come. The Lord will judge his people, and will have mercy on his servants. He shall see that their hand is weakened, and that they who are shut up have also failed, and that remained are consumed. And he shall say, where are their gods, in whom they trusted, of whose victims they ate the fat, and drank the wine of their drink offerings? Let them arise and help you, and protect you in your distress. See that I alone am, and there is no other God besides me. I will kill, and I will make to live. I will strike, and I will heal, and there is none that can deliver out of my hand. I will lift up my hand to heaven, and I will say, I live forever. If I shall whet my sword as the lightning, and my hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies, and repay them that hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, of the blood of the slain and of the captivity, of the bare head of the enemies. Praise his people, ye nations, for he will revenge the blood of his servants, and will render vengeance to their enemies, and he will be merciful to the land of his people. So Moses came and spoke all the words of this canticle in the ears of the people, and Joshua son of Nun. And he ended all these words, speaking to all Israel. And he said to them, Set your hearts on all the words, which I testify to you this day, which you shall command your children to observe and to do, and to fulfill all that is written in this law. For they are not commanded you in vain, but that every one should live in them, and that doing them you may continue a long time in the land whither you are going over the Jordan to possess it. And the Lord spoke to Moses the same day, saying, Go up into this mountain of Borim, this to saying of passages, and to Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab over against Jericho, and see the land of Tautan, which you will deliver to the children of Israel to possess, and Dido in the mountain. When thou art gone up into it, thou shalt be gathered to thy people, as Aaron thy brother died in Mount Hor, and was gathered to his people, because he trespassed against me in the midst of the children of Israel, with the waters of contradiction, and caves of the desert of sin, and you not sanctify me among the children of Israel. Thou shalt see the land before thee, which I will give to the children of Israel, but thou shalt not enter into it. Deuteronomy chapter 33. Moses before his death blessed the tribes of Israel. This is the blessing wherewith the man of God, Moses, blessed the children of Israel before his death. And he said, The Lord came from Sinai, and from Seir he rose up to us. He hath appeared from Mount Paran, and with him thousands of saints. In his right hand a fiery law. He hath loved the people, all the saints are in his hand, and they that approached his feet shall receive of his doctrine. Moses commanded us a law, the burdens of the multitude of Jacob. He shall be king with the most right, the princes of the people being assembled with the tribes of Israel. Let Reuben live, and not die, and be small in number. This is the blessing of Judah. Hear, O Lord, the voice of Judah, and bring him in unto his people. His hand shall fight for him, and he shall be his helper against his enemies. To Levi also he said, Thy perfection, and thy doctrine be to thy holy man, whom thou hast proven the temptation, and judged at the waters of contradiction, holy man. Aaron and his successors in the priesthood, who hath said to his father and to his mother, I do not know you, and to his brethren, I know you not, and their own children they have not known. These have kept that word, and observed that covenant, who hath said, etc. It is the duty of the priestly tribe to prefer God's honor and service before all considerations of flesh and blood, and such manner as to behave as strangers to their nearest akin, when these would withdraw them from the business of their calling. By judgments, O Jacob, and thy law, O Israel, they shall put incense in thy wrath and holocaust upon thy altar. Bless, O Lord, his strength, and receive the works of his hands. Strike the backs of his enemies, and let not them that hate him rise. And to Benjamin he said, The best beloved of the Lord shall dwell confidently in him, as in a bride chamber shall he abide all the day long, and between his shoulders shall be rest. Shall dwell, etc. This seems to allude to the temple being built in the confines of the tribe of Benjamin. To Joseph also he said, Of the blessing of the Lord be his land, of the fruits of heaven, and of the dew, and of the deep that lieth beneath, of the fruits brought forth by the sun and by the moon, are the tops of the ancient mountains, of the fruits of the everlasting hills, and of the fruits of the earth, and of the finest thereof. The blessing of him that appeared in a bush come upon the head of Joseph, and upon the crown of the Nazarite among his brethren. The Nazarite. See the note on General 49. 26. His beauty as of the firstling of a bullock, his horns as the horns of a rhinoceros. With them shall he push the nations even to the ends of the earth. These are the multitudes of Ephraim, and these the thousands of Manasseh. And to Zebulun he said, Rejoice, O Zebulun, in thy going out, and Issachar in thy tabernacles. They shall call the people to the mountain, they shall sacrifice the victims of justice. Who shall suck as milk the abundance of the sea, and the hidden treasures of the sands? And to Gad he said, Blessed be Gad in his bread, he hath rested as a lion, and hath seized upon the arm and the top of the head. And he saw his preeminence, that in his portion the teacher was laid up, who was with the princes of the people, and did the justices of the Lord, and his judgment with Israel. He saw, etc. The preeminence of the tribe of Gad, to which this alludes, was their having the lodge of Moses buried in their borders, though the particular place was not known. To Dan also he said, Dan is a young lion, he shall flow plentifully from Basin. And to Naphtali he said, Naphtali shall enjoy abundance, and shall be full of the blessings of the Lord. He shall possess the sea in the south. The sea, the lake of Gennesareth. Thus also he said, Let Asa be blessed with children, let him be acceptable to his brethren, and let him dip his foot in oil. His shoe shall be iron and brass. As the days of thy youth, so also shall thy old age be. There is no other God like the God of the rightest. He that is mounted upon the heaven is thy helper. By his magnificence the clouds run hither and thither. His dwelling is above, and underneath are the everlasting arms. He shall cast out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, Be thou brought to naught. Underneath are the everlasting arms. Though the dwelling of God be above in heaven, his arms are understretched out to help us say below. Israel shall dwell in safety and alone. The eye of Jacob in a land of corn and wine, and the heavens shall be misty with thee. Last art thou, Israel, who is like to thee, O people, that art saved by the Lord. The shield of thy hope, and the sword of thy glory, thy enemies shall deny thee, and thou shalt tread upon their necks. Deuteronomy chapter 34. Moses seeth the promised land, but is not suffered to go into it. He dieth at the age of 120 years. God beareth his body secretly, and all Israel mourned for him 20 days. Joshua, replenished by imposition of Moses' hands with the Spirit of God, succeedeth. But Moses, for his special familiarity with God, and for most wonderful miracles, is commended above all other prophets. Then Moses went up from the plains of Moab upon Mount Nebo to the top of Phasco over against Jericho, and the Lord showed him all the land of Galaad as far as Dan, and Olnatai, and the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, and all the land of Judah into the farthermost sea, and the south part, and the breadth of the plain of Jericho, the city of palm trees, as far as Secher. And the Lord said to him, This is the land for which I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, I will give it to thy seed. Thou hast seen it with thy eyes, and shalt not pass over to it. And Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there, in the land of Moab, by the commandment of the Lord, died there. This last chapter of Deuteronomy, in which the death of Moses is related, was written by Joshua, or by some other prophets. And he buried him in the valley of the land of Moab over against Fawir, and no man hath known of his sepulchre until this present day. He buried him by the ministry of angels, and would have the place of his burial to be unknown, lest the Israelites, who were so prone to idolatry, might worship him with divine honors. Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eye was not dim, neither were his teeth moved. And the children of Israel mourned for him in the plains of Moab 30 days, and the days of their mourning in which they mourned Moses were ended. And Joshua son of Nun was filled with the spirit of wisdom, because Moses had laid his hands upon him. And the children of Israel obeyed him, and did as the Lord commanded Moses. And there arose no more a prophet in Israel like unto Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face, in all the signs and wonders which he sent by him to do in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh, and to all his servants, and to his whole land, and all the mighty hand, and great miracles, which Moses did before all Israel.